Almost certainly, but Art couldn't prove it. And much like with the money thing, Art was going to forget it. It would stay in the back of his mind, but he would, it's one thing to suspect it, not be able to prove it. It's another thing to have the person admit it to you. Like, what are you supposed to do if you're Art in that situation? Like, do you take him into custody? Like, okay, you committed murder for hire. You're going away. Like, it puts Art in a really rough spot.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, the thing with Winona back in season 2, or is that 3, whatever that was with the putting the money back, that's not that big of a, well, comparatively, this is huge.
It's money, right? It's money versus murder. Like, they're very, very different things.
Yes. So. And I wonder, well, I guess we'll see in the next episode, but Art having to process that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's one thing suspecting it. It's another thing having him admit it. That's rough.
Yeah.
So, all right. And then our final thing I want to talk about is Hot Rod and Cousin Johnny. We get this fun little moment. I guess fun is sort of a way to describe it. Trope-y would be another way to describe it. It's like the turns have tabled moment. Because there's well, I'm gonna play the clip and then we'll talk about it. I'll play the clip.
Need to interrupt real quick. I was just wondering if you heard the news, Johnny.
Well, being that you're the main newsman around here, if you ain't told me, then no.
Boyd's got another shipment coming in.
Now, you lit that candle back up quick.
Not Detroit. I got it on good authority. He's striking up a connection with the Mexicans.
Mexicans? Oh, damn, it's hard times.
Well, I figure that winds being favorable lately, maybe we double down and we hit that shipment too.
There you go.
Yeah, that is big balls bold. I like it.
I knew you would.
One question, though. You got this on good authority from who?
Boyd. Game's over. I need you to come with.
You and him cut a deal.
Sorry, son.
Well, one more question before I go. How did you spend your take of our first hit?
That's what you're asking me? I invested it. It's always best to make your money work for you.
That's funny. I did much the same. I didn't even take my cut. I split it 3 ways. People power. It's a pretty damn good investment, don't you agree?
Well, shit.
So Cousin Johnny, who turns out to be a criminal mastermind, has
he actually showed something here.
Seriously, like he paid off Hot Rod's men as an insurance policy, essentially, in case Hot Rod decided to screw him over. He had the men ready to go, and they turned their guns on Hot Rod. What's interesting to me about this scene, because it's very tropey to have the whole, I already paid off your men thing. What made me laugh though was, how do the hitmen know, or how do the henchmen know to turn their guns on Hot Rod? Like, when did was there like a secret like wink signal or something that Johnny gave? Because they were just having a conversation. They're holding their guns on Johnny, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's turn him on Hot Rod instead. And they all do it simultaneously, like there was some prearranged, point in the conversation where it was supposed to happen.
That's like on Naked Gun, that scene with OJ.
Yes.
I brought this scene up.
The very first scene of
on the boat where he basically it's him going OJ like holding up and identifying himself as the police, and then the one guy just drops it. That scene just makes me laugh so much. Oh, it's just so funny. I think we talked about this even on the podcast before.
Well, that movie, I mean, they just don't make them like that anymore.
No, they do not. They don't.
It's so good. Aaron Frank. Well, that's a tall order, Nordberg, but I'll see what I can do.
That's right. And given what we know now, I mean, you can watch that in a whole other context with Nordberg, right?
I
It's
know.
like, it's like crazy.
You know what? Much in the same way we've talked about on this podcast before of separating the art from the artist, I can still appreciate that movie.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that OJ's in it. And I still laugh at the Nordberg when he's rolling down the steps in the wheelchair at Dodger Stadium. It's so funny.
I like Reggie Jackson.
Must kill the queen.
Yeah. Did you see that? Like, because the queen passed away maybe 3 months ago or 4 months ago, and then Reggie Jackson tweeted out, "See, it wasn't me," or something. Like that.
No, I didn't see that. That's so funny.
He totally did.
Police have held Enrico Palazzo for questioning.
Yeah, Enrico Palazzo. Love that.
So anyway, we've got cousin Johnny now, who's in charge seemingly of Hot Rod Dunham's crew. And you wonder, like, does that mean he now owns the entire Hot Rod operation, or is it just this heroin distribution? It's like, it seems like he bought it real cheap, right? If that's the case, if he owns the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, is that because that can't be just Hot Rod's empire right there? Those guys.
You wouldn't think, but I mean, maybe he runs a tight ship.
Yeah, maybe.
He's senior distributor. He's not down there at the street levels pushing stuff out. So he probably doesn't need a huge crew. He just needs some muscle.
Yeah, probably right.
I don't know. So I think that's it. I think that gets us through. Oh, I wanted to mention in a case of life imitating art or art imitating life, or in more ways than one. Art is listening to Rush Limbaugh in his car when he's waiting for Picker to show up at the diner. Did you catch that?
That's right. Yeah.
I have to think that the actor insisted on that.
I know, huh?
Because he's very vocal on Twitter. If you follow him, it's very clear what his politics are.
Yeah, he's definitely not. He's not listening to what would the equivalent be. The opposite, I mean.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't watch a lot of MSNBC.
Yeah, I think that'd be fair to say. Yeah.
That's for sure. So
yeah.
So I think that gets us through the episode. Anything else that you wanted to add before we get to our last segment?
No, that was it, man. We've been going for a while.
Yeah, we have. We got a lot in there. I might trim some, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So all right, let me hit the last segment.
I was telling my friends this morning how yesterday you come to me and if you don't get out of town in 24 hours, I'm gonna shoot you on sight.
Fire now!
Oh, you gonna shoot him if you catch him?
I'll kill 4 of you before you even clear your weapons, and I'll take my chances with the other 2.
If you get the chance, shoot him in the nuts.
I don't pull my sidearm unless I'm gonna shoot to kill.
Are you going to shoot him too, Raylan? And Raylan does not shoot anybody in this episode, but everybody else shoots everybody else in this episode.
Yes.
It's crazy because everybody did get shot too. It's not like nobody got stabbed. Well, actually, what's his name? Security guard stabbed himself.
Yes.
But he didn't die.
Nope.
But everybody else got shot by by firearm.
Yeah.
So it was Boyd killing Paxton with his own revolver.
Yep.
Al, the Canadian, being shot by Elias.
His name is Al.
Yeah, I call him. I forgot what his last name is. I had Al, the Canadian. Shot by Elias with a suppressed pistol. Mooney got shot by Mr. Workman, the black lung guy. So that's 3. And Elias was shot by Raylan. Actually, so Raylan did shoot him. Wait, is that right? Yeah, that is him on his body.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So so Raylan did. So I take everything back in that intro. Raylan
did shoot somebody.
Yeah. He has to fill out the paperwork again.
Paperwork, yep.
Yep. And then the last body was Jean Baptiste, shot by Danny Crowder.
JB, R.I.P. Hardly knew ye. I think
hardly knew ye.
I would have liked him to stick around a little bit. I thought I liked him as a character. I thought he added some interesting color to the show.
Yeah, and it was like a weird thing that he would get shot over that, right? It's not like they built up to it or anything like that. It's just like, okay, well, this is what happens.
Well, they're setting up how volatile and dangerous Danny is.
Yeah.
Because in the next episode, we get an encounter that's frightening.
Yeah.
So,
So Raylan won, Boyd won.
Wow. So many dead people.
Put these subtotals. Oh, I know. And then, like you were saying earlier, that doesn't include all the bodies they dug up from the massacre.
Yeah. It's not quite the most that we're going to get in an episode yet this season.
No. But it's a lot.
An episode involving the Mexican desert that has an awful lot of bodies.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll get there soon, but until then, don't forget to follow us on the socials at Groundless Pod or at Groundless Podcast, depending on what platform you're on. You can also email us with your love troubles or comments, questions, corrections to the show. Always happy to get those emails. That's groundlesspodcast@gmail.com. And of course, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We say it in that order because it's the easiest order to do it in. Subscribe, you click the little button that says subscribe in your podcast app. That's going to automatically download our next episode whenever it's released. You don't have to look for it or wait for it. It'll just be on their phone, ready to go when it's time to play. And then rate is where you give us a rating of 1 to 5 stars, hopefully 5 stars. And review, of course, is where you take the time to write a few words to praise us, to tell us how good of a job we do. And maybe sometimes some things we could do better, as long as you're coupling that with that 5 stars. So we appreciate all of our reviews. Thank you to those of you who have reviewed us. And don't forget to tell a friend, family, and of course, please write those reviews. We really appreciate it. It really helps people find the show. So thank you again for that. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, right? We'll be back in 2 weeks. Hold on. Maybe not. No, we're not going to be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's Christmas break. You're right. So this one's going to come out on December 26th. We're recording it a little bit ahead of that. So this one will come out on December 26th, and then we'll be gone for about a month. And we'll be back in February with season 5, episode 6, and the remainder of season 5 there in February and March. So we'll wrap up season 5 probably in early April. Do the movie, and then we'll be back in late spring for season 6 and wrapping up the Groundless podcast. It's crazy.
The final season.
And in between, we might just have a new show to talk about called Justified City Primeval. Because we expect that to be released in the first quarter of next year also. So you're going to hear a lot from us in 2023. We're looking forward to it, and we hope you are too. So until next time, thank you for listening. We'll see you then.